The green flag for the 2023 NTT IndyCar Series is this upcoming Sunday at St. Pete, and I'm more than excited. And I'm a huge IndyCar fan. I'm hyped. I truly, truly am. This is going to be exciting. We got new superstars in the series, new faces and new places. We got young talent, a lot of rookies. I can't wait. So, I thought today we would take a look and preview the 2023 IndyCar Series season and the drivers and the teams. So, let's do that. Starting off with Arrow McLaren, we got the usual of Pato and Felix Rosenqvist. Pato award 2 victories last year at Alabama and at Iowa, 2 victories in 2021 at Texas and Detroit. So he's averaging 2 wins a year since getting his first career wins in 2021. So yeah, I'd love to maybe see a little bit more consistency and more wins out of him. Other than that, though, he's a fantastic race car driver. Felix Rosenqvist, he did get a podium last year. I think he got like a couple poles, but I need to see more consistency out of him because honestly, I thought he was going to be out of a ride, but it looked like Alex Plo was going to stay with Ganassi. So luckily, I'm glad Felix Rosenqvist is going to remain in IndyCar. There were rumors he'd go to Formula E, but I'm glad he's going to stay in IndyCar because honestly, he does have the talent. I just need to see more out of him because I know Rosenqvist can get that win. He hasn't won since 2020, and it's been a while. So let's see what Felix Rosenqvist can do. Alexander Rossi, the 2016 Indy 500 winner, is joining Arrow McLaren after spending 7 seasons with Andretti Autosport. Rossi actually picked up a win last year at the Gallagher Grand Prix at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Rossi, as I mentioned, he spent his previous 7 seasons with Andretti Autosport, including winning the Indy 500 as a rookie. And we have another Indy 500 winner on this team. That's Tony Kanaan. But Tony Kanaan, this will be a farewell race, not season, more of a farewell race because he's just doing a one-off, that being the Indianapolis 500. The Indianapolis 500 only. Tony Kanaan is a 2013 race winner of the Indianapolis 500. Hopefully, I hope he goes out in style. I really do. He's an icon of IndyCar, and he's one of the all-time greats in my opinion. So Tony Kanaan just doing the Indy 500. So 3 entries full-time: Rossi, Award, and Rosenqvist, and 4 for the Indy 500. Team Penske, they just had a successful 2022 season. Will Power winning the championship, despite only winning 1 race, and that was at Detroit. Newgarden won 5 races, and Scotty McLaughlin, he won 3 races, including those are his 3 first career wins in an IndyCar. He's improved, and I think he's going to improve more. I think he's a legit championship contender next year, or I should say this year. Joseph Newgarden, unfortunately, some mistakes took him out. You look at Iowa, nothing of his doing. It was just the car. But Newgarden, he was fun to watch. He really was. At the ovals, as a matter of fact, he won last year. He won on a short track. He won on a 1.3 miles. He won on a street course, and he won on a road course. The dude did it all. Texas. That he passed Scott McLaughlin on the last lap to win at Texas. That was a fantastic finish. And Joseph Newgarden, the only really concern I have with Team Penske is the Indy 500 because recently, let's be real, Team Penske is one of the greatest teams of all time in IndyCar, not just in IndyCar but in racing. But unfortunately, they have over 18 Indy 500 victories. Power, Pagenaud, Sam Hornish, Elliott. I could go on and on and on and on. But unfortunately, in recent years, they haven't shown speed at the Indy 500. Like, none of these guys finished on the podium or in the top 10 at the Indy 500, which I was super disappointed as a diehard Penske fan. So I'd like to see more speed and better results at the Indy 500 because I know they can. They're strong. These are really, really good race car drivers. I mean, they really are. It's just the Indy 500 that's their only weakness. But other than that, they had a hell of a year last year. Ed Carpenter Racing, sticking with Rinus VK and Connor Daly full time. And the boss man, Ed Carpenter, just doing the ovals. Rinus VK looked fast last year. He was on the front row for the Indy 500. Actually, the youngest front row starter in Indy 500 history. He's a really, really young driver. He's only 22, but when he qualified, he was 21. Connor Daly, not much to say about him. He's going to stick with the team. Sponsorship from BitNile will continue. Shout out to him, though. He just recently made the Daytona 500, which was pretty cool to see. And Ed Carpenter, as I mentioned, he will be doing the ovals and the ovals only. Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan will stick with the same lineup from last year with Christian Lundgaard, the Rookie of the Year last year, with Jack Harvey. Harvey just wasn't really consistent last year. And with Graham Rahal. Rahal at this point, he's going to die with Rahal and Lanigan Racing. You know, Graham Rahal is a washed-up race car driver, in my opinion. He's a has-been. And the only reason he's still with the team is because his father is the owner of the team. I mean, Graham Rahal hasn't won since 2017 Detroit. And Catherine Legg, she will be attempting to qualify for the 107th running of the Indianapolis 500 this May. This is her first IndyCar. This will be her first IndyCar start in 10 years. So she's just doing the Indy 500, the Indy 500 only. So Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan, 3 full-time entries, 4 for the Indy 500. But that's only if Catherine Legg makes the show. Andretti Autosport. This team is very interesting. All of a sudden, Colton Herta, pretty much the veteran of the team. Now, I've been an IndyCar fan for 2 years. This was my 3rd season, but 2021 was when I started watching. In 2021, Andretti had Herta. But they also had Ryan Hunter-Reay, Alexander Rossi, and James Hinchcliffe. Well, Hinchcliffe's now in the NBC booth. Ryan Hunter-Reay's doing SRX races, and Rossi's now with McLaren. So Colton Herta, and now the experienced veteran of the team, and Herta ain't even that old. He's 22. So this team is a young team. The driver I'm most looking forward to is Kyle Kirkwood, because what he did in an AJ Foyt car wasn't bad, but it wasn't good either. But in his defense, AJ Foyt isn't really good equipment. He did have some good runs last year. Unfortunately, though, it was just his equipment. But this year, in a good, solid, competitive ride, I think he can truly get a victory in only his 2nd season. I mean, last year as a rookie, as I mentioned, he wasn't doing so well, but that was only because of his team. He's a good race car driver. The dude dominated in Indy Lights. As for Devlin DeFrancesco, last year was a failure, in my opinion. Devlin only had... No, he didn't. He didn't have any top 5s or top 10s. The only thing was that he pissed off Connor Daly, and he pissed off his teammates at, I think it was Mid-Ohio. So I'd say try to avoid that, because you're a youngster trying to make a name. And as for Romain Grosjean, I was disappointed in the lack of podiums. He didn't get on the podium much last year. I'll be curious to see if he does get that first win, because I know it's in him, because he has looked fast. Even as a rookie, he was fast. And as for Colton Herta, I've said this many, many, many times on social media. Colton Herta is the best street and road course racer on IndyCar, and there's only one thing that stops Colton Herta from winning / dominating, and it is Colton Herta. I have two perfect examples. 2021 at Gateway, while his car was on the jack and while it was still in the air getting worked on during the pits, he put it in drive, but while it was still being worked on. So that was just a mistake. And then at Nashville at Nashville 2021 just overshot a corner and I'm sure he didn't expect to crash out when he dominated that whole Nashville weekend. It was just a mistake. He threw it away. No other nice way to say it. That's just how it was. And as for Marco Andretti, it isn't confirmed, but it is more than likely that he will attempt to qualify for the Indy 500. Meyer Shank Racing, same lineup as last year with Elio Castroneves, 2019 Indy 500 winner. Simon Pagenaud, the 2019 Indy 500 winner, and Elio Castroneves, the 4-time Indy 500 winner. 4 times, went back-to-back in 2001 and 2002, won it in 2009, and 2021. So Meyer Shank Racing, not much to say. However, they did recently win the 24 Hours of Daytona, the Rolex 24, for the second year in a row. And these guys were 2 of the 4 drivers that were behind the wheel, I should say. So a shout out to Meyer Shank Racing and Elio and Pagenaud. Chip Ganassi Racing. So they've got 3 drivers that will run the ovals, the street, and the road course races, that being Scott Dixon, Marcus Ericsson, the Indy 500 winner from last year, and Alex Palou. Scott Dixon had 2 victories last year, and he passed Mario Andretti's record. He passed Mario Andretti's record for second all-time on the NTT IndyCar Series all-time wins list, and there's only one man who has more wins than Scott Dixon, and that is the GOAT of IndyCar himself, AJ Foyt. But Scott Dixon, I truly hope he gets that second Indy 500 win. He hasn't, ever since he won the Indy 500 back in 2008, he's just been cursed. Just last year, a speeding penalty. He only went 1 mile over, and a speeding penalty took him out. But if it weren't for that speeding penalty, Scott Dixon led over half the race. And if it weren't for that speeding penalty, like I said, then he probably wins the Indy 500. As for it was his teammate, Marcus Ericsson, who won the Indy 500. It was Ericsson's 3rd career IndyCar win, 1st on an oval, and 3rd with Chip Ganassi Racing. Alex Palou, despite all the off-track drama and the lawsuits, Alex Palou will remain with Chip Ganassi Racing. However, in my opinion, he's in a lame duck season, because I guarantee you next year he will not be with Ganassi. Marcus Armstrong, the guy below Marcus Ericsson. Marcus Armstrong, the rookie. So Marcus Armstrong and Takuma Sato will share a car. Armstrong, street and road course races. Sato, ovals. That's basically they're in the Jimmy car, and spoiler alert, Jimmy Johnson unfortunately will not be returning, but it was probably for his best. In my opinion, IndyCar was a disaster for him. Only had a couple of great finishes, and that was a 6th at Texas and a 5th at Iowa. But anyways, Marcus Armstrong, as I mentioned, he will run the street and the road course races, and Takuma Sato will run the oval races, that being Texas, the Iowa doubleheader, Gateway, and the 107th running of the Indy 500. And do not count him out at the Indy 500. He's won the event 2 times, 2017 and 2020. In 2017, he won it with Andretti Autosport. In 2020, he won it with Rahal. And who knows? He's one of the veteran drivers of the field, so maybe he can do it again for a third time. And as I mentioned, this team is really, really strong. Scott Dixon, he's a 6-time pole sitter award at the Indy 500, but I'd love to see him do more and just get poles at the Indy 500. I'd like to see him win the thing as a Dixon fan. And as for Ericsson, that drive at the Indy 500, that really did impress me. AJ Foyt Racing with Santino Ferrucci and Benjamin Peterson. Benjamin Peterson, the guy on the right. Yep, the guy on the right. He's a rookie. Santino Ferrucci, the only thing I'll say, I'll give to his credit, is that in every attempt he's done for the Indy 500, he's gotten a top 10. So shout out to Santino Ferrucci. He'll be in the 14, replacing Kyle Kirkwood. And Dalton Kellett will not return to AJ Foyt, so Benjamin Peterson is replacing Dalton Kellett. Juncos Hollinger Racing will have Callum Ilott. Callum Ilott returning. Callum Ilott, he is the guy on the left, and the guy on the right, rookie Agustin Canapino. I'm sure I'm butchering that. I'm not really good at pronouncing things, but that's the lineup for Juncos Hollinger Racing. Not much to say otherwise else. And last but certainly not least, we have this young and up-and-coming IndyCar drivers, David Malukas, the guy on the left, and the guy on the right is Stingray Robb. And yes, that is his real name. That is not a nickname. He has said it many times. That is his real name. I guarantee you. Or no, I don't guarantee. Yes, that is his real name. I swear. I thought it was a nickname. I thought that was just a name he was given as a race car driver, but nope, Stingray Robb. That is his actual name. That's such a cool name. But he's one of the rookies. As for David Malukas, I think his performance last year at Gateway, which I got to witness, that race finished under. Excuse me. That race finished under the lights. Malukas was catching McLaughlin. He caught up to McLaughlin. Unfortunately, did not catch up to Joseph Newgarden. He finished second in that race. David Malukas finished second in a Dale Coyne Racing car. That was impressive. He just ran out of laps to catch up to Joseph Newgarden. Maybe two more laps and he could have caught up to him because Malukas looked fast at that racetrack, which is an oval. Gateway is an oval, so I'm sure he'll race well at the ovals this year. And as for Stingray Robb, I'm not sure what to expect really from him. I guess he's coming into the season unknown, because I'm not really sure how he'll perform. But Malukas, yeah, Gateway last year, he impressed the hell out of me. Finishing second to Joseph Newgarden. He was able to outduel a Penske Chevy in Scott McLaughlin. But anyways, that is a preview for the IndyCar series. Those are all the full-time entries confirmed. 27 full-time entries. I'm excited. This should be a fun season. We have a lot of young talent. Really, we'll only have a couple of the old guys left. I mean, Dixon, he's still around. Pagenaud's still around. Elio Castroneves, so both the Meyer Shank guys. And as I mentioned, Tony Kanaan, this Indy 500 will be his final IndyCar start. So I hope Tony Kanaan goes out with a bang. Tony Kanaan finished third in the Indy 500 last year. He finished third, and his teammate, Pato O'Ward, finished second to Ericsson in the Indy 500 last year. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'd say St. Pete. I'd say watch out for Alex Palou. He finished second. Keep an eye out on Scott McLaughlin. He won the event. And as I mentioned, don't ever count out Colton Herta on street and road course racing. He is the best, but the only thing that stops him from winning is himself because of his mistakes that he makes. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and Have a great rest of your day.